All right, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, and welcome. Welcome to Live at 5 on a Monday. It's our weekend update here from the All Around Town Radio studios. How y'all doing out there? I have no voice today, so please keep in mind. Don't judge me. Don't judge me today. If you're out there, say hi. Let's see if we're getting sent out. I see Steve Stein has checked in on the old Facebook. Yes, how you doing, Steve? Good to see you. A little slow to start here. We'll see what happens. There's Dewey. How you doing, Dewey? Glenn checking in. The Wanderers checking in with us here on the Tube of You. Dirk Turner from Crying Out Loud in the house. Good to have you. Thank you for being with us. And yeah, I was, I don't really play the game with the voice, and sometimes I should take better care of my voice because I had some big events last week, and then by Friday I was like gravelly, so I said I kind of took the day and didn't talk a whole lot. And then Saturday MC the show, which we'll talk about that went all day long. And by Sunday, I'm sounding pretty rough. I am. So we'll get through it though. We're gonna have hear me there. I did a little Peter Brady. We'll through it though. And yeah, when it's time to change, it is. And yeah, what's going on there, Gina McCann? Got to hear her lovely voice this weekend. We're going to talk about that. Well, thank you, Glenn. Being the Wanderers, he should love that thing you do. That's a great song, by the way. Yes, Marvin Gaye today. Well, I'm about to go Barry White on y'all. I am. You'll never find. Yes, here we go. Bob Klein in the house. How are you, Bob? Thanks for dropping by. Good to have you with us today. Thanks for being here, guys. We had one hell of a week of live local music, and many of you did as well. A lot of people posting on our page and talking about it. So, welcome to All Around Town Radio, your number one source for live local music, news, bands, venues, and more. There we go. Let's scroll that across the bottom. Do a few technical things here. As always, I'm running like by the wire. And don't forget, guys, the views and opinions expressed in this program are those of me and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of our sponsors or any entities they may represent. So there, got that in there. It's my legal disclaimer, I have to say. So let's get started. Welcome to All Around Town Radio, your number one source for live local music, news, bands, venues, and more. This is Monday, September 23rd. 2024, and we're backstage from the All Around Town Radio studios to tell you what we did this weekend, and you can tell us what you did. If you didn't post it on our page yet, please drop it in the comments, and we'll try to shout you out and talk about it. We will. Who's there? Hi, Carla. Thank you. Lemon and honey. I'm all over it. I've been all over it today, but it'll get better. I've only got 2 gigs this week, then I get to take some time off. That'll be all right. Yeah. Ed Sawicki in the house. Thank you. Yes. You had a weekend. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're ready to get back out and back at it, Ed. I'm sure you've been missed by many out there. And I missed just seeing you down in Hamilton Saturday. I thought I might pop there and see you. John Dale, what's up? That's a great picture, by the way. Love it. Love it. Glenn says River's Edge was awesome. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. It was really good. It was good. I'm working on it, Carla. I am. Megan Miller in the house. Megan, that is an awesome profile picture, by the way. I love that. I do. Tim Butterfield. Were your ears burning Saturday? We were talking about you and your lighting. A couple of us were. About how good you are at what you do. Yes. Yes, we were. All right, let's get started, guys. I want to thank everybody for supporting us last week. We had some good shares on the show on Thursday. Not as big as we've had in the last few weeks, but I'll take 10,000 plays on the show. So thank you for that. And we appreciate you sharing and being a part of that. And, our Thursday show is the most important one we have all week long because that's the one where we really tell you where everybody's playing. And that's what we're here for. We are. Casey Gomez in the house. That's right. I was MC Hammer over the weekend and not hammered because I don't drink when I work. No, but goodness, yeah. I don't know. It's dry out there still, people. We need some rain bad. Kill all this dust and crap. We do. Hi, Dave. Thank you for being here. Colleen. So if I'm hacking and coughing today, I apologize, guys. Like I said, it's been a long vocal week, and we'll get there. Colleen, thank you for being here. Didn't get to see you at the Reds game yesterday, but I went to the Reds game. They lost. And then they fired their manager, which we're not going to get into. I don't have time for that at all. At all. Jimmy Kilroy, he's finally over the vid. Good. Glad to hear that. Now I'm going to start this coughing fit as I've got to do this show. How about that? Hollywood in the house. It was great working with you all day Saturday, by the way. Had a great time with you and Casey back there and the rest of the crew. Good stuff. Dewey, I'll pop that up in the comments. I'm going to have to get to it here for a minute. But we'll leave that in the comments so people can see it. Played 30 minutes past curfew, which was a nice treat. Wow. How about that? How about that? So, yeah, our weekly programming, guys, includes our Monday here weekend update. Tuesday, Hot Topic Tuesday with my friend Karis, and she's my co-host with the most. That one's sponsored by the Bell and the Bear. Wednesday with the band. We don't have a sponsor on that one yet. We're working on that. And then Thursday's show, Who's Playing Out, brought to you by Heathers in Springboro, Ohio, where we feature the best musicians and venues in the tri-state and what's going on for the week. We do. What's up, Sean Cooper? Thank you for being here. Good afternoon to you. Dangerous Jim and the Slims in the house. We're going to talk about them. Wow, that's all I can say is wow. Wow. Glenn says it's raining in Kentucky right now. Good. Let's get it raining this way. Hi, Jeffrey. How are you? Good to see you. Grocery Store Vodka represented. Hi, Debbie. Thank you, Debbie, for that. I really enjoyed myself Saturday, and we'll get to that here in just a minute. Well, I'm not going to prematurely talk about it yet because I've got some other people we want to mention on the show. So let's get to it if we can here. And this week in music for us, it started for me. I hosted Tuesday Trivia. That's not music at Mr. Burroughs Tavern, but then I did my music Name That Tune at Heathers on Wednesday. The smallest night we've had this year. It was kind of weird. It was a beautiful night, but it's football season for all the kids go back to school, all that Thursday night games, soccer, all that stuff. So we were down a little bit. We had 25 teams. Okay, that's not small, but over 150 players. Not what we're used to with the 40 teams and 350 people by any chance, but it was a great time. And Heathers is always a good time. We're having a good time this week as well. We do that every Wednesday. We're going to do it all the way through November. So there's nights where you'll be in your coats, hoodies, whatever. Bring your hand warmers because we're going to do it. We are. Absolutely. What else we got? Gina McCann says, send some to Ohio, Glenn. Yeah, we need some rain. We need some rain. Hi, Chad. How are you? Yes. Good to see you all here. Thanks for checking in today, guys. I'm going to get through this, though. Let's talk about Thursday. Popped in for just a few minutes to Heather's Cafe on the patio. If you guys know Jim Snow, he does a list of musical Who's Playing Out. Basically, it's a written list, the Snow Report, as it's known. And Jim works his butt off on that. He goes out on the internet and he finds every event known to man and puts it on a list. So if you're interested in that list, there's no competition between me and Jim. People try to make that a competition. It's not. Jim is a great supporter of local music, and that's what we're here for, and we're proud to be friends with him. And Jim Snow had a birthday, so he was at Heathers with a big entourage of the Snow Report folks, and he was having a good birthday party, and Anita and the Daves were playing. Got a chance to hear Anita and the Daves. Man, they were just smooth, easy listening stuff. There are a lot of Beatles in their set, just some really good tunes that you can still have a little conversation at the table if you want, but listen to some good music in the background. And they're super nice people. Got a chance to talk to them for a few minutes there at Heathers on Thursday night. So as we say, as we go through this list, guys, anybody you've not followed on the socials, please follow them and follow Anita and the Daves. And I love the songs they were playing because it was a change of pace. They're not playing the usual bar hits. They're playing a lot of stuff that the crowd enjoyed that night. It was the last ladies' night in historic Springboro for the year. And Heather does half price wine night too, bottles of wine. So it can be a good time there on a Thursday. And the crowd in Springboro that night was crazy busy. All the people checking out the shops and so on. So, and that's what they do in Springboro. They do some wonderful community events each year. Hi, Pete Davidson. Thanks for being here. We'll be talking about him in a minute. We will. And what else? Chad. Chad has a lawn care business. Yeah. Those guys who cut grass for a living aren't cutting grass for a living right now. If they are, they're robbing people, I guess, because there's no grass growing, at least in my neighborhood. Hi, David. How are you? And he likes half price wine. Yeah, anything half price is all right with me, except for hookers. We don't talk about them on the show. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, half price wine night at Heather's every Thursday, so that's a good thing if you like that. So Anita and the Daves, super nice. Thank you guys for some good music. I've got a lot to talk about, or I dig deep into this, and I did not get a set list or anything from them. But like I said, I noted a lot of Beatles tunes in there. Jim Snow's crowd loves it, and if Jim Snow's crowd loves it because they're music connoisseurs. They're gonna love. You're gonna love that band for sure. And Sean said Benny Bodine killed it on the patio last Wednesday at Milano's. Benny Bodine is a force as well. Wonderful. And David Linda, thanks for being here, man. And Chad said Cassette Junkies crushed it at Oktoberfest. And Megan, when were you playing? I caught that late, and it didn't dawn on me that was on the list because I was down there at the Reds game yesterday. It wasn't yesterday, I hope, because if it was, I'm really sad I didn't step over there and watch for a bit. I did think I saw Brad Martin maybe playing in Tin Cap there at the Banks, or Tin Cap, Tin Roof. I'm sorry. Tin Caps in Wilmington. But yeah. So let me keep rolling though. Thank you, Anita and the Daves. So good and so much fun. Please follow them on socials, guys, if you can. And then Friday night, got in there late, but we did make it to the last half of the Hanky Panks playing. And again, at Heather's. People get tired of me talking about Heather's this time of year, but man, 5 minutes from my house, I say it every week, and I can see a wide variety of bands. And I got to see the Hanky Panks, our friends from the Hanky Panks. We're putting on a great show, as they always do. And there's not many bands out there that have the cojones, as I will say, or round cylindrical objects to do requests. They take requests on sheets they hand out in the audience, and they play these requests. I mean, this is not Howl at the Moon Saloon by any way, shape, or form. They actually jump on it. They don't play a couple lines of them. They play the songs, and man, they're good at it. The Hanky Panks had the crowd rocking and rolling, doing some great things that night. And, they're just a fun band. And Kevin Cooper has a variety of bands, from Eyes Up Here to the Hanky Panks, obviously, and his solo shows. But Kevin kind of musically directs this organization. Brian vocally is amazing. Richard over there playing the bass is keeping the solid line. There were friends in the audience. Mike and Dixie Roberts were there. Of course, Kevin Cooper in the house with his wife. Everybody there having a good time and enjoying themselves with the Hanky Panks. And I don't want to call them a novelty type band because they're a really talented band, vocally and musically. But it's fun when you see them play these requests, and they kind of look at each other like, we'll try it. And they do it really well. So really good stuff. And Dewey, there were all kinds of fun requests that night. And like I said, I got in there late, so I didn't get to hear most of them. Colleen says loves the Hanky Panks, and David Linda says they are good. Yes. 4:30 on Saturday, Chad said, thank you, good. I'm glad I wasn't there then. I was there Sunday for the Reds game. We got out of there about 4:30, but we bleed out of town because it was a mess by that time. Oh, yes. And what's Glenn saying? He requests air supply all the time with the Hanky Panks, and they never do it. Well, it's probably because it comes from you, Glenn. That's interesting because I think they'd kill air supply. I would think, especially with Brian's voice. Brian has a high range that's just amazing. When he sings, I've had the time of your life song, and he does the girl and the guy part. It's cool. And Jason said Rockstar had 2 great gigs. That was Miamisburg Moose Lodge, not Springboro, but yes, and Jimmy B's. and I did miss them at the Moose. I apologize to Toy and the boys for not being able to get up there, but we had a dinner run late and all that. And Carla says Hanky Pank's very cool in the requests. I agree 100%. David said air supply is real. What'd you say, Hollywood? Glenn, maybe they're all out of love. God, but there we go. How about that, people? So thanks to Kevin, Brian, Richard, the drummer who I can't remember his name right now. I never can. I'm sorry. And certainly the Hanky Panks. Heather had a great crowd. This time of year, Heather works her butt off even more because all her kids go back to college, and it's the price you pay for hiring college kids, but the college kids are great workers that she has there. They go back to college. So she was working in the kitchen. She comes out of her the sweat hole once in a while in the kitchen and says hi, but she works her butt off. She really does. Walt, thank you, Colleen. Gosh, I always forget that. Sorry, Walt, if you're watching. Yes. And Bob Klein says, because it sucks the air out of the room. You got jokes too. Everybody's got jokes. Don't tell Steve had a great show at the Moose in Hamilton. There we go. Sorry about the coughing, guys. I'm trying to make it through this. I am, but we're going to get to our Saturdays, what I want to talk about the most. I did not see that. What's that about, Dewey? Is that breaking news? What? That cannot be. I'm going to be there. God, I hope it's not the last time they play together. I hope that's fake news. I do. But if it came from Dave Wade, that's, yeah. Wow. 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 Yeah, that throws me for a loop too. That just stopped me in my tracks, but mercy. I know Anne is playing with another band. She is traveling with a Heart tribute band, but interesting. Wow. I don't know. I love Memorial Hall. I've seen several acts there. Saw the Eagles Project there. It was great. Several others. Yeah, it's a wonderful place to see music in Cincinnati. All right, I got to keep rolling. Thank you to Hanky Panks on Friday night. Now let me go to Saturday. Saturday's the big one. Fasten your seatbelts, ladies and gents, because I'm going to chat about it. Should have put Jameson in there. Let's talk about Corn Stand Jam. I'm repping the shirt here. You can't see it because my camera's set too high, but there it is, Corn Stand Jam. And we want to talk about it. First and foremost, let me talk about Mr. Jimmy Unger, who we had on the show last week on Wednesday, promoting the Corn Stand Jam. And if you know Jimmy at all, you know what his passion is for this. And it's a man who has risen out of the ashes of tragedy. He lost his son 6 years ago to suicide. And that's why they do this event for mental health awareness and to support mental health programs and scholarships to the local high schools. 7 of them given away this year for $1,500 each. And in the name of someone who has taken their own life actually in that school. So that is, it's a tough thing to talk about. It really is it's a really difficult topic. And Jimmy, how he has the strength to stand on stage even and tell his story or on our show last Wednesday just amazes me with his strength and his position on all this. And Corn Stand Jam is made up of a core group of about 20 people who put this thing together, and then 100 volunteers and a whole great lineup of music and such. It's just an amazing thing to go see and witness. In the last 6 years, they've given over $100,000 to local mental health charities and scholarships. So what an amazing story they have to tell. And Carla says, but it needs to be talked about. Amen. And one of the things that got mentioned throughout the entire day, reach out to someone if you're struggling, because everyone struggles at some time in their life. And reach out to someone, because it's never too late to get help. And that was the message all day long. And I was so proud to be a part of this. I will tell you that it was brought to you by the Corn Stand Gym was brought to you by an American Legion post 138 called the Derwin Shantz American Legion post, and they presented a check for $5,000 that day to the event, just on stage that we did. There was a young man, D, he goes by D, who told his story about attempting to take his own life. And man, was it an inspiration to hear him talk. He was a young gay man who was taking a lot of crap from a lot of people. And he got up there on stage and told his story, man. There wasn't a dry in the place. Just an absolute wonderful young man and a pleasure to talk to backstage and out on the stage. And, I had the opportunity to MC this event, and it's a small part of a big cog there that works. And one thing I found is everyone there had a heart in this. They knew someone, they were connected to someone who had lost someone due to suicide, and or someone that had mental health issues, and they could not get past them. And I agree, at an important and very worthy cause. And the fact that they give back locally is another big thing. And Bill said Jimmy's intro about his son was beautifully. It was tough to listen to, but every time I hear him tell that story, it's tough to listen to. And you got to know that this guy has been through pain that most people would never want to endure. And he's up there making an event happen that is a massive event there at Hamilton. I mean, there were, I don't know how many food trucks. I'm guessing 15 food trucks out there. The kids zone, the corn maze for the kid, an inflatable corn maze, which was cool, a petting zoo for the kids, dozens and dozens of raffle baskets and things such as that. They gave away a trip to Hilton Head, a signed custom-made guitar. There were all kinds of things to raise money for this, plus some beverages that were being sold, which were raising money as well. And let me get to how this event started out. I had the opportunity to open the show at noon, and with Sheriff Jones from Butler County. He's character, I will say that. Sheriff Jones and I went out on the stage, and we had a chance then to introduce the first opening act, which was DJ Christian D. This young man's been DJing since he was 11 years old. He's 15 now, I believe. He's a little rock star. I'm just going to say it. He has got it going on. He is an entertainer on that stage. He's dancing. He got out on the front of the stage and was cutting it up while his songs were playing. He's a great mixer on the DJ tables there. And the kid's got an old soul music library in his head that's just unbelievable. He's a big fan of Roger and Zapp from back in the day. He threw in September because it was September 21st, the 21st night of September was on there. And yeah, he's a cool kid. He is. His parents are behind him 110%. And his dad's a hell of a roadie, by the way, up there on the stage. And mom's like his best social media person there ever was. So, yeah, this event has over 50 corporate, individual, and let me make sure I say this right. Yeah, and community sponsorships, 100 volunteers, just tons of stuff going on. And let me get to the musical acts, though. Christian D was born and raised in Hamilton, by the way. His family was telling me a story about when he went to, here's this kid, and his dad described him as the only white kid at the Roger and who was it, Morris Day and the Time concert. And he had his album there to be signed by them. And this lady came over and grabbed him and said, hey, can he come with me to the dad? Dad's like, okay. Well, it was one of the moms of the Troutmans and the Roger Troutman band at the time. Took him backstage where he got pictures with Morris Day and the Time and people like that. So he's a good kid. He is. And then, as I said, we had D come out from the Boys and Girls Club. He's the Youth of the Year for them and give that inspirational story. Then Joe Waters. Now, you get this guy on the stage. He's the 2024 individual International Blues Challenge champion, who, man, is he good. Let me tell you. I can see why he won. He's barefoot. He's sitting on a chair. He's playing harmonica while he plays guitar and sings. It's an amazing show. And he played for an hour. He recently toured opening for George Thorogood and the Destroyers. So, what a talented lineup just to start that off with Christian D and then Joe Waters. And Joe's out of Dayton, Ohio, up my way here, and I want to go see more of him because he's just wonderful. Thank you, Colleen, for that. I appreciate that comment. Gina said he was dancing with you. Yeah, I'm going to take a little credit for that one because he was standing backstage looking like a lost puppy. And watching, when Casey and Mason came out at the end to sing the finale with you guys and do the finale, I looked at him. I said, you opened this show. You should be out there to help close the show. And I grabbed him and I held on to him till you guys got into the chorus and then threw him out there basically. And he absolutely tore it up. And dancing right next to Gina McCann. I told him, I said, you go dance next to that redheaded girl. He's like, okay, I'm there. And he went out and did it and did a really good job. And it would have been nice if we had a lot of the acts there. There were some out in the audience still that played all day to get them up there as a finale because it was a good day. It was a good day of music. Next up on the stage, the Kakata Comeback. I hope I said that right. Kakata Comeback. Now, they've got albums out. They got an album out that was just released. CDs, they were available there at the merch area. Josh Lawson leading that one. This band grew out of his residency at the North Second Tap in Hamilton in basically back in 2021, I think it was. I'm looking at some notes here I had. But the band celebrated their release this year of their album, self-titled debut album called The Kakata Comeback. And man, I liked his voice too. Raspy, soulful. They played, each one of these bands played for an hour. And Ed says, Joe is one heck of a talent about Joe Waters. Yes. And of course, then the Kakata Comeback, man, they weren't slouches either. Let me tell you, Josh Lawson, he brought it to the house and killed it. And it was fun to see all these different style acts get out on the stage and play this show because we had a variety of music that day, which I think is attributed to Casey Gomez putting this together as the musical director and doing such a great job. And his next act after the Kakata Comeback, and I can't talk a lot about each one, guys, because I'm running out of time, but I do want to say this next act, if there were a roof on the place, they would have blown it off. Dangerous Jim and the Slims. Allow me to tell you what a freaking party they were. Yeah. Horn section, Jim, it was 105 degrees on the stage when they played. That's what the thermometer said, 105. And Jim acted like he was dancing in 60-degree weather. He was up there. I mean, he opened the show throwing candy to the kids out in the audience, brought a bag of candy, got the kids up and dancing, got everybody up and dancing. And it was hot. I mean, if you see some of our pictures and it looks like there's nobody there, that's not true. They're all back under the trees in the area where it was cooler and that during the daytime. And wonderful stuff from Dangerous Jim and the Slims, and a mix of originals and cover tunes, which I liked. His originals were really good, and I've never heard Jim's original stuff, and they were very good. And let me tell you, every musician in this group is fantastic. Now, Mark playing bass, he plays with Sweet Sister Mercy. You hear him on our theme song here as we open the show and all that. But just a variety of guys in the band that are all multi-talented. And Jim, as a front man, is a front man. He should have his picture next to front man because that's who he is. And he blew me away with his talent. Everybody in the place was just loving it. Just absolutely loving it. I'm sorry. Let me... Thank you, Kevin. Casey says, it was great to see the event come to fruition. Very good. Well, all the lead people in there, you should tip a hat to them because they put together a wonderful group there. And I'll get to the folks on the production side of things for sure. Tim says Jim is one of the more entertaining frontmen out there. He's freaking crazy, is what he is. He's not. I mean, to dance in that heat for an hour, I don't know how he made it. In fact, one time his keyboard player came back to grab a water, and I was worried about him. He was looking a little pale because it was hot. It was super hot on that stage. But Dangerous Jim and the Slims, man, they're gonna have an album release. It's called, what is it called? Their second album, Calamity and Serenity Volume 1, coming out October 19th at Fretboard Brewing. They're going to do the album release party there. They've been doing this for 25 years. So really, really cool people. So thank you, Dangerous Jim and the Slims, for wonderful stuff. It's raining in Harrison. Yay. Needs to rain in Springboro. It does. Bring it on. I need it. My grass looks like the desert. It does. So yeah, if you want to party, man, go follow Dangerous Jim and the Slims and go to one of their shows. Go to their album release at Fretboard. That'll be a good one. And Megan said she got to meet Jim just a few weeks ago. He's a great guy, and he was so complimentary of everybody there too, the people working and the people helping. And I like that in a front person. That he wasn't standoffish in any way, shape, or form. He just came out and he was everybody's friend, man. And he was everybody's friend in the audience. And the audience had a great time watching him. Absolutely a great time watching him. So thank you, Dangerous Jim and the Slims. Then this beautiful young lady named Maria Corelli and her band played, and I didn't get any pictures of them on stage. I was tied up in the back talking to somebody, and it just totally slipped my mind. But there were official photographers at this event, so those folks will have their pictures out. I'm sure you'll get to see it. But this Maria Corelli, we joked because that day the state put a burn ban on and no fireworks. So unfortunately, the Rosie's fireworks show at the end of Corn Stand Jam, which is a tradition, had to be canceled. Well, Maria's got a little handle, they call her, called the Kentucky Firecracker. So she replaced the fireworks with her stage presence, and she was amazing. I agree, Casey. And Maria was amazing in more ways than one because she was just an absolute pleasure to work with. Super nice, talking about her stuff. And, she's been doing it for 10 years. She's from Ludlow, Kentucky now, but originally from the Cincinnati area. And she's got an album called Strings on My Guitar that's out, if you guys want to check that out. And she was nominated Best Country Artist in the Cincy Events Online. And she's doing new music in the studio right now. Great band backing her up. Aaron, Ben, John, all those folks were so good. And she was the little Kentucky firecracker on stage. And then she went out and worked the audience and was up by the merch booth. And I went up there and did get one picture with her that's on our page, but she amazed me. Such a great personality. And Hollywood said Jim went to the merch tent and bought a T-shirt of every band playing the show. How about that? That's cool too. I think that's awesome. That makes me like Jim even more. It does, and I already like him so much. I mean, I think he's a wonderful, wonderful entertainer and artist. All right, I got to keep rolling, guys. I'm running out of time today, and we could do a whole show on just Corn Stand Jam. But we had a lot of raffles happening, a lot of things going on. We honored our military veterans, had all the veterans stand up out there, and a big round of applause for the military veterans. And then when the American Legion came up and gave their check, he mentioned again how many veterans take their life each day to suicide. And it's just an awful statistic. So, that's something that this mental health fundraiser goes to help, as well as the veterans who deserve us to help them as much as we can. And like I said, 7 scholarships this year, lots and lots of good stuff. Then my good buddy Hollywood came up on the stage with me. And this is when Jimmy told his story. And again, man, got you right in the feels. It does. And I can't imagine. This guy could have curled up in his bed and never come out again after what happened to him with his son. And instead, he works his butt off to make this thing happen. And really, really did a great job. of talking about this for real. And I want to say at that point, Hollywood got on stage and he was to introduce CFG and the family. He's tight with those guys, and had an opportunity. He threw me a shout out, and I appreciate that very much for our platform here. And had a lot of support from people in the audience all weekend there, just with nice people supporting what we do here at All Around Town Radio. So thank you. But the next group up was CFG and the family. These hometown boys finished in the top finalists for the International Blues Challenge group section or band section. And when they play a hometown show, I've seen them play hometown shows now, I think 3 or 4 times. When they're in Hamilton, it's an absolute next level show. Not because they do anything any different, it's because the audience loves them. And they feed off that audience energy just top level. And Casey was on his game. There's a photo on his page where he's jumping off the top. Mason making fun of him about a 3-foot vertical or somebody, but or Greg. But CFG and the family brought it, and the crowd when the sun started going down and they started playing, everybody migrated then into the area of the grass there, and it was full. It was a good night with a lot of people, and I got to say, Casey is a front man. He's a hell of a front man. He's moving on that stage all the time. You'll be hard pressed to find anybody that can play bluesy slide guitar like Mason Johnson at his age. Amazing. Greg Skinner, Pete Davidson, Greg on the bass, Pete on the drums. I was giving Pete hell for having shoes on. I've never seen him with shoes on playing the drums. He had blue suede shoes on. So it was good. Casey says he's got hops. Yeah. You're like when I saw Joe Cocker before he passed away, he jumped, he did a jump at the end of his set. It was 3 inches, I think, got off the stage. But yeah, CFG and the family, I can't say any more about them than most of you already know if you've seen them play. Their variety of music, the way they put their own twist on cover songs, all that. And we had Dale Wu out in the audience. Dale was wooing it up when CFG was out there and making some serious noise. So, you guys, first of all, they're awesome guys just to hang out with and to be around. But they're musically talented is unbelievable. There's a reason they went to the International Blues Challenge, obviously winning Cincinnati and then made it to the finalists down there. So as Gina said, not much more you can say other than they are just awesome. But Casey, to have the duties of being musical director for this show and making sure all the bands were getting checked in and getting their shirts and all the things that they had due to them and getting paid and some of those things for some of them. Obviously, Casey had a big hand in that, but then he went out and performed like a champ, and the rest of the band as well. So I can't say a whole lot. Like I said, I'm running out of time, but I do want to talk about the last act, and that was Ben Walls, who put together a wonderful lineup of folks. And Gina, you're going to have to help me with the other folks playing. I know you and Johnny were out there with Ben, and obviously, hang on, I'm going to cough again. But throw in the rest of the band there so don't screw it up if you can, because I'm not real familiar with the drummer. Boy, this is tough. So Ben Walls came out for the finale, the hour-long finale there. Was supposed to play up until fireworks time, and obviously the fireworks didn't happen. So he jumped all over this set and had Gina doing backups with him and singing some lead stuff in a couple songs. Johnny Fink on guitar, just blowing me away, as he always does. And Ben can play the guitar too and sings, and just, it was wonderful. And Casey said such a great lineup and a perfect closer for the night. Absolutely. And just a group of people that are nice to be around as well. And, people call me, and I know it's a negative term, but somebody called me once at an event of the Clock Nazi. But when I'm on stage, take a lot of pride in trying to get, and with Hollywood, when we work together, we take a lot of pride with getting people on stage on time. Because if somebody says, hey, this band's playing at whatever, 9 o'clock, I want them to be ready and going at 9 o'clock. And I will tell you, I take a lot of pride in the fact that, and it's just because of the crew at River's Edge, who did a remarkable job. The stagehands, the sound techs, everybody at River's Edge, and Hollywood helping run the stage, and Casey. We were on time all day. Everybody, if we were late, we were 30 seconds late on the last act because we had a little issue, and we didn't have any issues all day long until we had one little keyboard issue there at the end, and that was it. So Ben Walls killing it, Gina McCann, Johnny Fink, whoever else was there. I don't see all the names, but good stuff. But it's hard to do a festival and be on time with that many moving parts, and especially when you have a band like Dangerous Jim and the Slims, where you got 8 or 9 guys up there, and this and that. And Steve said Hamilton's River's Edge concert venue is the best in the whole city. Well, that's a good compliment for them. Thank you, Steve. And yes, Casey said smoothest event he's ever been involved with. And I'll say I've done a lot of events, and I got to say I've never worked with an all-female stage crew who did a great job. And I think there was one guy in the mix who was running the front of house. The rest of them were all females, and they knew their job, and they knew the lingo. They knew, I mean, they're pros, and did a really good job. And and Bob, you're right. It's unfortunate at these events that they don't always have somebody to help manage that time on the stage and the clock, because if one band goes over 20 minutes, then you either cut into their setup time. It's just a mess. And yes, and Gina said they all nailed it. So yeah, that's a wrap on this show, guys. I will tell you, I have a lot more to say about it, but what I'm going to try to do once the dust clears from this, and there was dust. When the dust clears and Jimmy has some time, I'm going to get a few people on the show if I can get Casey on again and Jimmy, and we're going to do another recap show so we can talk about some of the monies that were earned and some of the good positives that come out of this event as well that we didn't talk about today. So wonderful stuff. I had a blast being there. I'm honored that they asked me to be their MC, and I hope they asked me to come back again. And yes, Mike was on bass, Doug was on keyboards, and Josh was on drums with Ben Walls, besides Gina and Johnny that were up there. So I wanted to mention that. And I can't thank Hollywood enough for bringing me into this mix too, in the Hamilton music community. It's got a great vibe to it in Hamilton. There's some good things going on down there, and it was a beautiful day in Hamilton, Ohio on Saturday. Glad to be part of it. My Sunday was filled with organ music at the Reds game, and they lost, and they fired their manager. So there, that was my Sunday. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in today. We appreciate you. I've got 2 trivias this week. I'll be at Mr. Burroughs with question and answer on Tuesday, and then Heather's Name That Tune on Wednesday. And right now, we don't have a Wednesday with the band. We had a cancellation a few weeks back, and we don't have them. So if you guys are interested, if you've got a band that wants to come on at noon Wednesday, or if you're a musician, you want to join me and talk music, we'll be glad to do that. Ed Sawicki, I'm feeling fine, buddy. The voice is gone. I'll get over it. It's the allergy thing or something. Who knows? And thank you, Casey. MC Hammer, that's my new handle. It is. Pete, thank you, man. You are amazing as well, buddy. I really like working with you guys. You guys are always so much fun and smiles on your faces. And there were no divas there. That's one thing I love. Nobody that day had an attitude on the stage. We had a perfect day of great musicianship and people. And that's what the love's all about in an event like that. Hot Topic Tuesday is still on for tomorrow. Dewey will be here tomorrow at 5 o'clock. With my co-host with the most, Karis. Tune in for Joy and Judgment, everybody, because that's what we'll bring you. We'll see you next time here at All Around Town Radio. Bye-bye for now. Thanks, Gina. Thanks, Gina.